It all started with an online ad for a roommate. I wasn't making the most money from my 2 part-time jobs and could barely afford a 1-bedroom apartment. I took the risk of looking for a roommate situation. Took about 4 hours, but I found one that didn't give off serial killer red flags. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment that was managed and rented by this 23-year-old girl. She wrote in her description that she worked from home and needed a second person to live with. Mainly as human company that could help with chores. You have no idea how fast I jumped on that. Sounded like the perfect situation. The bonus is, I only have to pay 40% of the rent. I moved in as fast as I could pack. I will admit, when I look back on the first day, it wasn't the best impression. Dishes were everywhere, trash was littered on the floor, and a major deep cleaning was needed in the apartment. But I wrote it off as her being a stressed worker with barely any time to manage her apartment. If cleaning here and there and cooking meals while paying only a small portion of rent was the price of living here, then I wasn't going to complain. It took 3 months for us to finally hit it off and start a relationship. There were odd signs I should have taken into consideration. The way she never left the house or talked to other people, slept a lot, and worked on a PC in her room. I will admit, I'm no professional on human behavior these days, as I don't leave the house often myself. Her portion of rent, utilities, and every other bill was just deducted from her bank account. No interaction whatsoever with the landlord himself. She had me change the lease to have it under my name, but she still paid 60% of the rent herself. I was even entrusted to look after her bank account to keep it active. These were strange things I never questioned, since I was working myself to the bone day in and day out. Retail and other such jobs were all I could get, as my work history was shaky, and I didn't have a college education of any sort. I think it was last week when I found out the truth. I saw a small-time article that barely had any clicks. It was about a car crash that she was in. She was listed as missing, but it never picked up any ears from the local cops. I finally pieced together that I was living with a ghost or some sort of apparition that was able to interact with me and the world to a limited physical degree. I have been given the responsibility of taking care of her stuff since she's dead. I promised to look after everything. It's been 6 days since she finally moved on to paradise. Why couldn't she stay?